Hi everyone, we have a very exciting package that is going to be the start of a new series on my YouTube channel, and I am very excited. So first, before I tell you what that is, let's open this box. I hope you can see that, but this box is full of cookbooks. This one is, not sure when this one is. I'm assuming it's from like 80s maybe, 70s, 80s, not sure. This is Honeybells Recipes, Volume 2. Oh, I'm excited. This one is the Congregational Cookbook. It has an ad for the Dairy Made Milk Hominy. Lots of recipes in here. This has a recipe for cheese dream and hot cheese sandwich, butterscotch pie, mock mince pie, crumb pudding, black pudding, the popular Jello recipe, lemon Jello whip with prunes, grape ketchup, lots of candies, and people have written in the back, which I love. That's like my favorite thing about getting old books. It's a recipe for baked pork chops. Here's another one. Lemon Jello with banana. Publication complied by the Ladies of the Congregational Church of Marshalltown, Iowa, December 1914. That's kind of crazy. This book is in really good condition. So excited. This one is Prize Recipes 1934, the Iowa Housewives Cookbook and Home Guide. Has some newspaper clippings. This one is a recipe for Mexican chili that they used 2 sewing pins to pin it to this cookbook. Copyright February 1934, J.E. Patterson. Oh, here's some more. For a bit of fun, try making quick dough. Another newspaper clipping. There's a lot of ads in here, which is really fun. H&H Cleaner cleans anything cleanable, especially rugs, upholstery, carpets, and woolens. Vanilla sauce. Hot fudge sauce. Another newspaper clipping. This is Icebox Steak Tail, a dish that will fit any stomach. They use these little pins to pin everything in. And there are some recipes in the back here. And a lot of handwriting. Gotta look at this one. Look at all that handwriting. So this is a little bit hard to read, but when you start reading old handwriting, you just get better at it as you go because you become more familiar with it. This is candied sweet something. I would assume it's sweet potato, but it does not look like sweet potato, so I'm not sure. That's very exciting. 1930s cookbook, and more stuff just fell out. Things are coming out everywhere. Oh, I forgot. This one had a lot of clippings in here. I just didn't open up to that, I guess. Chocolate drops. Can string beans raw. They just tell you how to can raw string beans. This one is from a newspaper. Posted up. Says $29.35. Whoa, this is really long. There's recipes for white cake, devil's food cake, frosting, old-fashioned jelly roll, 1 egg cake, and an idea of what to do with leftover meat. She's delightful, she's lovely, it's delicious. Any little bride can follow this surefire, foolproof, low-cost recipe and bake something as thrilling as can be. Coffee cake. I am definitely going to be trying that one. Oh my goodness. There is a picture at the on the back of it of James Cagney. James Cagney, as chief deputy in the Weights and Measure Department, calls the newspapers to give them the lowdown on the food racketeers, whose chief is canning. on the left at the Iowa, Sunday and Monday. I love things like that. Bettinia's Recipes by Louise Bennett Weaver. I have read this book before, and it says Bettinia's Best Recipes for Sale under 1,000 Ways to Please a Husband by Weaver and Lecron at Harris Emery's, Rikers or Youngers, Des Moines. Bettinia makes a large coconut cake. The dinner menu is macaroni and tomato escalloped, raisin rolls, amber marmalade, head lettuce and mayonnaise, coconut cake, and coffee. I hope to someday have that book. I do not have one yet, but I have read it on Gutenberg, and I can leave a link for that. It is very entertaining and super fun. Such a tiny little clipping on the back. Looks like was maybe comic strips. I'm not really sure. Recipe for Mrs. B. Colfax: butterscotch pie, baked mutton and vegetables, escalloped cabbage, corn muffins, prune conserve, and fruit salad. This is a this is from the bakery. It's like a receipt, I think. Ackley Bakery, Ackley, Iowa, and they never filled it in. On the back, it has a recipe for something that does not have a title. It just says 12 egg yolks, 1 3/4 of a cup flour sifted, 5 something, I don't know, teaspoons of salt, sugar. Looks like maybe they were at work or something and writing down a recipe. I don't know. This is one, Minute Tapioca. There's an ad here for Minute Tapioca. Oh, it's just so cool. And then on the back is part of an ad for rompers, sleepers, and play clothes for boys and girls from 2 to 8 years, midi blouses, and all sizes. So excited. So that is the end of that one. We've only made it 3 cookbooks in it, and it's already amazing. Oh my, this one looks so cool. Oh, I'm so excited. Cookbook 1923 has a cute little ribbon. The cover feels really interesting. It's like very smooth. Okay. Oh, this one's packed full of newspaper clippings as well. I'm not going to show all of them because that'll be part of the surprise at the end. Champion Poultry Raiser is a woman. Mrs. Kern takes 4 first with 4 birds. This one isn't even a recipe. There's no recipe on either side. It's talking about a Mrs. Kern. Although she is 70 years of age and a grandmother and has been raising chickens, ducks, or turkeys for more than 30 years, she is still in the poultry game. Okay. Bread pudding is the essence of perfection. Chocolate bread pudding. Oh, that sounds so good. On the back of it, it says, Hutchins man pays $300 in fine. Back when, like, newspapers actually had news, not ads and boring little things. Raisin cupcakes. This is cute. They divided the cup in cakes. It's funny how our language has morphed over the years. And it calls for sun-made seedless raisins. Try this as a sample of what raisins do, then make many other foods with raisins. Oh, on the back of that, it's not complete, but there's a recipe for pimento in spaghetti mold. Cook half a package of Quaker milk spaghetti in boiling water until tender. Drain and rinse with cold water. And then part of it's cut off. It says buttered mold with this, beginning at the center and continuing to wind the spaghetti around the bottom until the bottom sides of the mold are covered. Like I said, part of it's cut off. And then they tell you to add milk, eggs, salt, pimento, butter, onion, and a few other things that are cut off. I can't read them all. Place in a pan of hot water and cook in a moderate oven until firm and center. Interesting. This is so exciting. Science teachers, please read. To help you and your classes, we now offer 100 lucky low-cost recipes that any class can bake successfully. Drop us a line. Tell us how many sets you can use. Absolutely no cost or obligation of any kind. It's a recipe for date nut orange bread. Free 100 lucky prize-winning low-cost recipes if you send your grocer's name and address to Town Crier Flour. And they have the address in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, we're going to open the last one for now. Husband hit ceiling, but from pleasure, when he found these delicious rhubarb puffs waiting to appease his hunger. Try them in person. Rhubarb puffs. And it's also by Town Crier Flour. That was funny. That's a good one to end on. I forgot we haven't even looked at the actual cookbook, but there are so many things in here. Lots of recipes for cornbread, Johnny cake, chicken pie crust, chicken croquettes, salad dressing, fruit salad dressing, Astoria salad. Alright, so that's a 1920s cookbook. This next one, oh, it looks just as good. Oh, it looks amazing. The Watkins Cookbook, the J.R. Watkins Company, Winona, Minnesota. It has a recipe for refrigerator rolls, brown sugar refrigerated rolls, corn sticks, Watkins coffee bread, quick. A child has been coloring in here, all around the edges. Onion soup, oyster stew, pea soup, cream of pea soup, gumbo, southern style, tomato aspic, cream sauce for vegetables, that sounds delicious, apricot icebox cake, Watkins gingerbread, and Watkins gingerbread topping. And here is a really cool ad for Watkins orange nectar syrup, Watkins cherry nectar syrup. Cherry flavored syrup contains concentrated true fruit, cherry, and cherry pit extract, fruit acid, certified color, and sugar. And it has soda for preservation. So cool. So cool. Spiced pineapple for meats. The choicest raw materials from the world's finest markets. They have a map in here. This one is Volume 2, Stories and Recipes of the Great Depression of the 1930s, and Low-Fat Pantry Cooking by a home economist. And this one is from March, it says copyright March 28th, 1993. There's lots of recipes in here. Country spook yeast, white bread, milk rice grod. They have some stories in here that are really cool. Southern yam pie, wearing apparel. Date hermits, date roll rocks, glorified rice, country school jam sandwiches. And I will link the Etsy seller that I bought this from because they were very helpful and their shop has some really cool things in it. So I'll link their shop and I'm probably going to be buying again from them. This is the Cathedral Cookbook. This is a reprint from 1984, but the original copyright date was 1968. Pictures in here, appetizers, pickles and relishes, soups, salads, and dressing. It says a recipe for cream of broccoli soup, creamy party jello, holiday salad, rice pork loaf, salmon loaf, open-faced sandwich de mer. This one should be very exciting. The Inglenook Cookbook. This one is from 1908. It has a recipe for carrot salad, cornbread, macaroni with cheese and ham, and the name is Ida Klein. Ida Klein. Sorry, I said it and just made a pun on accident. Copyrighted 1901. Tomato soup, farmer's rice, mock turtle soup. Every time I hear mock turtle, I think of Alice in Wonderland and the mock turtles. Frizzled dried beef. I have heard of this recipe before in a few old cookbooks. It's in my other 1920s cookbook, so obviously I have to try it because it was in more than one. So, shortcakes and puddings. Lots of recipes for strawberry shortcake. Lots. Apple butter roll, orange pudding, peach float, prune whip, that's another one I think I've seen before, flannel cakes, cream rusks, potato rusk, a Dakota delicacy, coconut cream pie, lots of lemon pie, lots of cookies that are just cookies, pepper nuts. We love pepper nuts. They are so good. So I'll have to try this recipe. This handwriting is beautiful. It's a recipe for walnut cake, spice cake, Prince of Wales cake, Boston baked beans, macaroni and cheese, salad dressing, ice cream, frosting, salmon loaf, cookies, scrambled eggs, and I'm not sure what this last one is. We are nearing the end. Oh, okay, this one, my friends' favorite recipes, tested recipes with practical references, recipes to suit everyone's taste, first edition, 1931. This book is a combination of recipes from the 20s to the 90s. The first half of the book was put together by my grandmother and was printed in 1931. With encouragement from friends and relations, I have printed the original cookbook and included a second half of recipes from my friends and relatives. I hope that you will have many hours of pleasure reading and using this cookbook. 1993, Lyle Keller. And there are some poems in here, which is fun. Some ads. Bread, ginger snaps, fruit drops, macaroni salad. Okay, I think this is the last one, and it looks really good. It's wrapped in plastic. Let me check. Yes, this is the end. Practical cooking recipes. A little like pamphlet. Lydia E. Pingham's Vegetable Compound for Women. This is so cute. It feels very delicate. Like tissue paper, kind of. Like it's in good condition, but it feels like tissue paper. 98 out of every 100 women benefited. Extraordinary results important to every woman. Like it's like a recipe and then a review of the vegetable compound. And then another recipe and another review. Drawn butter sauce, baked fish, stuffed onions, hot slaw, nut and cheese sandwich. I'm not sure when this recipe is from. I'm guessing the 30s, possibly 20s or 30s, because it kind of looks like that. But I don't see any date on here. And they probably wouldn't have put a date on it because it is a pamphlet. So, next one. Recipes from Antone's Kitchen. And there are some newspaper clippings in here I can see. The Secret Riches of the Famous Century-Old Restaurant in the French Quarter of New Orleans. A This Week magazine service booklet. Price 25 cents. Says lots of newspaper clippings. This ad on the back. And it's this recipe for peachy low-cal surprise. Grandma's favorite recipes. Sample recipe is a banana nut cake. This is from 1948. That's an illustration. I have a book from 1947. I don't have 48. A cookbook from 1947. Oysters, brochette, hollandaise sauce, omelette, French pancakes, chicken Creole, and oh my goodness, the last book. This one is pretty loose. The cover is Time and Temperature Oven Cooking. Price $1 from St. Louis, Missouri. Issued by the Research Kitchens of American Stove Company. Copyright 1925. Talks about the oven itself, the heat regulator. Has some, if I can hold it up, some photos in here. And, ooh, that looks good. Says coffee cake or coffee bread, date bread. There's a lot of colorized photos in here. And, as was common back then, they have a few pages to put your own recipes in. So that is the end of the cookbooks, and I am excited to announce that I will be starting a new cooking series. I'm going to start at the beginning of the 1900s, and each month will have a different decade as the theme. So to start will be the very first decade of the 1900s. So these cookbooks, I'll probably use the one from 1901 and a few of the others that I have for that time period. February will be 1910s, and March will be the 1920s, and so on. So I am very excited. I was not sure if I was going to be able to do this. I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, and I went to several antique stores and some thrift stores and could not find any cookbooks that were published before. I had a 1920s cookbook, but other than that, I couldn't find any that were from before that or from the 30s. I could mostly only find 40s, 50s, and 60s, which I already had 40s, and I didn't really need 50s and 60s. So I had been looking on Etsy and everywhere, and it took me forever, and I finally found, I've been looking for the past month and a half almost, and I finally found these cookbooks. So now I'll be able to do that. So I'm very excited, and we will be starting that soon. Since January is already half over before I was able to get cookbooks, the next 2 weeks will be full of recipe videos. I'm going to do as many as possible, so they might kind of take over the channel a little bit for a while, but then I'll be trying to do at least one recipe video a week in every month, possibly 2 a week. So I'll probably have about 4 recipe videos a month from each decade that we are working on. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too, and I will see you in the next video, and I cannot wait to make some of these recipes. So I will talk to you later. Bye!